Hi, I'm Eric Siegel with Kitbashed Survival, and today we're going to be checking out the 5-day survival backpack made by Wise Company. I thought this would be a semi-appropriate thing to review at this particular time, although I personally don't feel these things are necessary quite yet. But a lot of people do, a lot of people are panicking, and as a result, these things are actually kind of hard to find right now, and if you can find one, you're going to pay a very inflated price. And so for that reason, if after watching this review, if you like what you've seen and you want to get one of these, I would recommend waiting until this whole crisis is over, because if you buy one right now, you're going to pay way too much for it. And again, like I said, quite frankly, I don't think they're necessary yet. And to be honest, I don't think anything like this is going to be necessary for this current crisis. But it is a nice thing to have just in case. I got these at Sam's Club last year in 2019. They had a whole pile of them, and I can't remember the exact price. I think they were about 50 bucks, which was below the price on Amazon and way below what you'll pay now. I think I saw these the other day for about 130 bucks online. So again, don't buy one right now. But anyway, so when I saw them at Sam's Club, I got 4 of them, and then I also got several of the Wise buckets of freeze-dried food that they also make. So I'm glad I picked these up. So on the front of the box, you can see it says food, water, first aid, and warmth. And then right here it's got the major items: food, water, a stove, a cup, a flashlight, a whistle, a 42-piece first aid and hygiene kit, waterproof matches, a Mylar blanket, an emergency poncho, and playing cards. And then on the side, it's got a list of some other items in the backpack, although some of these are repeats from the list on the front. And look at that, it's got an N95 mask. That's pretty cool considering the current climate. Now, of course, there are some notable things missing from this backpack, such as any form of significant shelter other than the Mylar blanket and the poncho. There's no knife, and probably a few other things, but that's okay because the backpack that all this comes in is large enough to where you can add extra stuff if you want. So if you prepare ahead of time and you're willing to add some stuff to this bag, I think it's quite possible this could be an excellent starting point for building a really good 5-day survival bag and or bug out bag. Now down here it says kitted on August 19th, 2019. So this is a current kit. And then on the back, we've got the nutrition info for the food. This is pretty funny. Wise water ingredients. Water. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. So here's the bag itself, and on just a cursory examination, it looks to be pretty full-featured for what it is. We've got these straps here in case you want to secure anything to the front. There's a cinch cord here. We've got a webbed pouch with a cinch cord here and a buckle up here. Another webbed pouch with a cinch cord and a buckle. There's a webbed pouch back here up top. Here are the straps, and there's a chest buckle here. Got a handle up top, and then we've got 5 interior compartments. So yeah, it seems pretty good. Now, quality wise, I can tell this is not the highest quality backpack ever made, but it's really not intended to be that. Otherwise the kit would cost much more. So, you know, is the quality good enough to last 5 or 10 days or maybe a few months if necessary? Sure. Is it good enough to withstand years and years of wear and tear? Probably not, but then again, that's not what it's designed for. So out of the box, most of the compartments in this backpack are empty. In fact, the only compartment that has any sort of cargo is the main compartment where they've stashed all the food and supplies, and we'll take a look at that compartment in just a minute, but it's kind of up to you to use the other compartments as needed. But I did want to show you one neat thing with this front pouch up here. And that is that it's got this orange flag inside. And then there's this Velcro flap on the front, and there's a hole, so you can feed the flag through the hole, like that. And then you can close the pouch. And now you have an orange flag hanging off your back to make you more visible. And it's because of this flag that I decided to buy the camouflage colored backpacks. When I got these at Sam's Club, they were offered in two colors, red and camouflage. They both have the orange flag, but I chose the camouflage because it has a dual function. If you're in a situation where you're trying to hide and you don't want to be found, well, you've got a nice camouflage backpack. But if you're in a situation where you do want to be found and you do want to be more visible, well, now you can hang the orange flag off your back and make it easier for people to see you. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up that main compartment. So there are 3 bags in here. There's this bag that contains all the equipment. There's this bag that contains the water. And then there's the largest bag that contains the food. And oh, by the way, inside that main compartment, there's another zipper pouch right here. Pretty cool. So they give you 5 pouches of water, and each pouch contains 4.227 ounces or 125 milliliters. Now the interesting thing is that on the back, on the instructions, it says to drink a minimum of 2 bags per person per day. Well, this is a 5-day survival pack, so for one person, this would be 2.5 days of the minimal, absolute minimal amount of water you might want. So what I'm thinking is that this isn't supposed to be your absolute only supply of water. It's a starting point. So this is enough purified water to get you going for a day or so until you can secure another source of water, either more purified water or some water that you can boil or purify yourself. Because of course, you're not only going to need more water to drink, but you're also going to need water to make the food and so forth. But yeah, so this is a good start. 5 pouches of purified drinking water. Up next, we've got the food bag. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we've got. So first up, we've got Southwest beans and rice. And this is just freeze-dried food. You add hot water, you let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes, and then it's good to go. This is 4 servings of Southwest beans and rice. Then we've got creamy vegetable pasta. Again, 4 servings. Then we've got a milk alternative here, whey milk alternative, 12 servings. Just add cold water. Then we've got hearty tortilla soup, 4 servings. And then we've got brown sugar and maple multigrain cereal. That looks pretty good. 4 servings. And then we've got apple cinnamon cereal. And because there's no label on here, they provide a separate instruction card for the apple cinnamon cereal. So here it all is. I think it's a pretty good selection, and I actually added all the calories of these packs up, and it comes to just over 5,000 calories, which in a 5-day survival situation would divide out to about 1,000 calories a day. Now, 1,000 calories a day is probably far below what most people need on a daily basis, but you know, it's not bad, especially for an emergency situation. You know, in a survival situation, food is probably the least important thing. On the other hand, water is probably the most important thing. So, you know, this is not a ton of food. You're not going to be going to bed with a super full stomach every night, but is it enough for one person to get by for 5 days? Absolutely. So you know what? We're going to cook one of these up right now, and I think I'll try the Southwest beans and rice. All right, so I've got the 4 cups of water that the directions call for in my jet boil, so let's go ahead and fire that up. And then while that's boiling up, we'll put the rice and beans into this bowl. So that's what it looks like before we add the hot water. So just tasting the powder on its own, the spices, before I put the water in, it tastes pretty good. Now there is quite a lot of sodium in this. In fact, all the entrees have a lot of sodium, but you know, in an emergency or survival situation, I don't think you're really going to be concerned about how healthy the dish is. Alright, we're at a boil, so let's turn the heat off. And now we'll add the hot water to the freeze-dried mix. I always like to do this a little bit at a time. It smells pretty good. I have to wonder if the 4 cups of water is really necessary, because there's nothing worse than adding too much water to a freeze-dried dish. Then you end up with a soup. So I'm going to leave it like this for a few minutes and see if it thickens up. I've used about half the water, about 2 cups. Now the instructions say to cover it, so I've got some tin foil. And we'll give that a cover. And it says to wait 10 to 12 minutes, but I'm going to peek in a few minutes just to see if it needs more water. Alright, it's been a couple minutes and it is thickening up, so I'll go ahead and add most of the rest of the water. I'd rather it be too thick than too thin, so I'm going to stop right here, because right now it's looking pretty soupy again. But that rice should soak up that water. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes. So let's see what we've got. Okay, it did thicken up nicely. I'm glad I didn't add the rest of the water though. That's a pretty good consistency, so let me give it a taste real quick. The rice is cooked really well. It's not al dente. It's pretty good. It's not too spicy. It's not too salty. I think I like it. Yeah. It's really not bad at all as freeze-dried foods go. There it is. It's got little beans in there and pieces of corn. There's some turmeric in there, I believe. Yeah. I mean, I like this. I think I'm going to have it for dinner. Alright, yeah, I think I like this. You know, I've had a few more mouthfuls, and my only criticism, if you want to call it that, would be that it's a little on the bland side. It's not very salty or spicy. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I would definitely rather it be under-seasoned than over-seasoned out of the box, or out of the bag, I should say, because you can always add seasoning later if you need to. But yeah, you know, it's not the best food in the world. It's freeze-dried food. Freeze-dried food is only going to be so good, but I like it. You know, I think Mountain House probably has the best freeze-dried food out there. So, you know, if Mountain House is 5 stars as far as freeze-dried food goes, I'd probably give this 4. It's definitely good. Alright, moving on, we come to the final bag, which contains all of the survival equipment. So let's go ahead and open it up and check it out. So first up, we've got a small camping stove, and this is one of those military style stoves. It opens up like that. And you put your fuel tabs down here and your pot or your pan up here, and you've got a little makeshift stove. Now, one of the things I like about these stoves is that they're adjustable. So like that, you can put a pretty big pot or pan on top, but if you've got something small, like for example, the cup that comes in this bag, well, then you can close it like that and put your cup on top. Pretty cool. Now there's that steel cup, just your basic steel cup. And inside the cup we have the supposed N95 dust mask. I'm not sure if it's actually N95, but it says it is. And then there's a deck of playing cards, which is always a good thing to have on hand when you're stuck with nothing to do. Then we've got some waterproof matches, Coghlan's waterproof matches. These are okay, I've used them before. Then we've got one of these whistle compass storage things. And I've reviewed these before on this channel, but there's a whistle there with a ball in it. There's a ferro rod there, but I don't think it's very good. There's a compass in the top, which, you know, I'm not sure how well that's going to work. And then there's a mirror down there. And you've got a waterproof storage area right there. So, you know, it's okay, but it's not the best thing in the world. Then we've got some Kleenex right here, some tissues. Always good to have. There's an emergency rain poncho. There's an emergency blanket, a space blanket. I'm not going to take it out. You've seen these before. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 water purification tablets. That's good. Got 2 antiseptic wipes. Actually make that 3 antiseptic wipes. Here's the instructions for the Aqua tabs. Then we've got a flashlight. This is one of those hand-cranked flashlights. So it looks like that, and the way it works is that you unlock it and then you crank it and it powers the flashlight. And it'll stay on for a little bit. You can see it already had some power when I took it out of the bag. So it's not bad, and at least it doesn't need batteries. Then we've got a 36-piece first aid kit. And then finally, we've got some solid fuel tablets for the portable stove, 4 hexamine tablets. So what do I think of this 5-day survival backpack? Overall, I think it's decent. Now, does it have everything you need to survive? Of course not. I don't think anybody would argue that it does. But if you've got a family and you want each person in your family to have a bag that they can just grab and go in the event of an emergency, I think this is a good starting point. However, if you're planning on making this your primary survival backpack or bug out bag, I would recommend getting the bag and then adding some stuff to it. Now, I could sit here for the next hour talking about what stuff to add to this bag to make it better, but some stuff that comes to mind just right now off the top of my head, well, you could add a tent of some sort, a water filter, a radio, two-way radio, toothbrush and toothpaste, a glow stick, a water bottle, a knife. This is a Mora knife with a built-in fire steel, some toilet paper, some cordage, a fire starter cube or tinder material of some sort, a headlamp or flashlight or lantern, a Bic lighter, and some candles. And I'm sure there's lots more you could add. You know, maybe in the future I'll do a video where we take one of these bags and build it into a kick-ass bug out bag. As for me, I have my own bug out bags that are fully equipped. I just got these because they were a good deal at Sam's, and I thought they'd be a good thing to have on hand just in case. Anyway, that's about it for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm Eric Siegel, this is Kitbashed Survival, and I'll see you next time.